If, like me, at times you struggle with your weight, then stick around until the end of this video. Lumen, the world's first metabolic coach, has important insights tailor-made for you. For months now, I have been sounding the alarm about the media missing the moment, abdicating their role as the constitutionally protected free press in the most pivotal, important election of any of our lives, maybe in the history of the country itself. And a couple papers have done okay, but more than not, they've failed. The New York Times is among them. Now, the New York Times is endorsing a candidate in a moment where everyone needs to have a voice. Everyone needs to sound off about the dangers that we face. The LA Times has chosen not to, owned by a billionaire. I mean, all these media companies are owned by wildly wealthy people, so that's not a surprise. The Washington Post, same deal. Jeff Bezos putting his financial self-interest ahead of the best interest of the country and her people. But the New York Times has for months and months and months and months created this false equivalency between the two candidates, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. They did it before with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And now, in the 11th hour, they've decided to come out. And I'm going to read a little bit. I mean, look, I'm thankful that they've done it. I'm thankful that they're calling the threat what it is. Believe him, they're saying. Donald Trump is dangerous. He's going to prosecute his enemies. He's planning mass deportations. There's going to be camps, all of this. But if that's what they believe, what took you so long, New York Times? Why the equivocation? Why the false equivalence between two starkly different candidates? We're going to go to the New York Times here as I read. This is how they laid it out. Donald Trump says he will prosecute his enemies, order mass deportations, use soldiers against citizens, play politics with disasters, abandon our allies. Believe him. You scroll farther down. This is an opinion piece from the editorial board. And I'm only going to read 3 or so paragraphs of this. Donald Trump has described at length the dangerous and disturbing actions he will take if he wins the presidency. His rallies offer a steady stream of such promises and threats. Things like prosecuting political opponents and using the military against U.S. citizens. These statements are so outrageous and outlandish, so openly in conflict with the norms and values of American democracy that many find them hard to regard as anything but empty bluster. We have 2 words for the American voters: believe him. I agree with this take. Obviously, I agree with this take. But the question remains, what took you so long, New York Times editorial board? And if this is what you believe, if you do believe the truth, why the months of trying to paint the two candidates as so similar that we've got to tell the truth about Kamala Harris? Here we go. The records show that Mr. Trump often pursues his stated goals, regardless of how plainly they lack legal or moral grounding. The record further shows that many of his most reckless efforts in his first administration were stymied only because of others in his administration who blocked, delayed, or watered down his aims to ensure that he could not put himself above the law or the country. Mr. Trump has learned from that experience to surround himself with supplicants who would instead obey his wishes and bring his words and ideas to life, even if they contradict facts, the public interest, or the Constitution. All of these things I've been talking about, screaming about literally, for months. For this reason, Americans would be wise to see this language as a genuine threat, not simply Mr. Trump on a tangent. We should take the painful step of imagining America were his plans and promises to come to pass. To imagine the impacts to our culture, to our economy, to our security, to our shared commitment to the rule of law. And then I'm going to end with this. The promises Mr. Trump made during his first presidential campaign in 2016 turned out to be a pretty good roadmap of the policies and priorities he pursued as president. Today, he says he is ready to deploy the military against his political opponents. He says he will instruct the Justice Department to prosecute critics. He says he will mobilize the National Guard to deport immigrants, that he is ready to blow Iranian cities to smithereens, and that he will allow vigilante violence as a solution to crime in America. Americans should believe him. Now, I'm going to link below to this because it's not just platitudes that they're claiming. They actually go through here and back up every single thing that they say with evidence, with Donald Trump's words. So the MAGA crowd can't say, oh, this is just bluster. This is just the liberal media. This actually is backed up by facts. This is backed up by Donald Trump's words, by Donald Trump's intentions, by Donald Trump's previous actions as president of the United States. Believe him. Of course, we should believe him. But really, importantly, a question needs to be asked of the New York Times Editorial Board and any other employee of the New York Times. Where have you been? It's not like you just found this out. You didn't just discover the fascistic intentions of Donald Trump. You were there for the campaign in 2015. You were there in 2016 during the election. You were there when his administration started on January 20th, 2017, and you were there when he attempted to overthrow the United States government on January 6th, 2021. You've known, just like all of us, the danger that Donald Trump poses. Where you been? Welcome to the club of Americans who live within the reality that we exist in. But all of your other coverage that you try to prevaricate was not just unhelpful, it was hurtful. What do you think? I'd love to know. We can talk about this in the comments. If you disagree, I'd love to hear it. You can also leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. If you appreciate my coverage, my analysis, my commentary from an independent media standpoint, I would appreciate your support on this channel. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month. Let me tell you, that's a lot cheaper than a New York Times subscription. $2 a month. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. I'd love to see you there. Follow me on social media. If you're already there, I am at Dollemore. I would love to see you there. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Be better, New York Times. Take care of one another. For many of us, weight can be a struggle. I know it is with me. As we head into the holiday season once again, which for many is the hardest time to stay healthy, I, for one, am determined to stay on target. You guys have certainly seen me through thick and thin, for sure. In appreciation of this support, I would like to share a tool that I've been using to keep me on leaner track, Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. With just one breath in the morning, Lumen measures your, or in this case, my metabolic flexibility, which is our body's ability to efficiently switch between different fuel sources like carbs and fats. The more flexible your metabolism, the healthier you are, because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does. Optimizing your metabolic health carries many benefits, including improved energy levels, elevated fitness results, superior sleep, and easier weight management. Head to lumen.me/Dollemore to receive 15% off of your purchase and put your metabolic health in your own hands. With one breath, Lumen will give you daily macro recommendations based upon your own biofeedback, allowing you to put yourself in the most ideal state for losing excess fat, gaining muscle, and improving metabolic health. You can also breathe into Lumen before and after workouts and meals to see exactly what's going on in your body in real time. With Lumen giving you tips to keep you at the top of your game. No more one-size-fits-all nutritional strategies. Craft a healthier version of you with Lumen. Head to lumen.me/Dollemore to receive 15% off of your purchase. That's lumen.me/Dollemore. Probably should spell that one too, but I'm not gonna. For 15% off. Breathe out and take metabolic health into your own hands.